August 1944, the battle for Normandy is raging. The Allied forces landed 2 months before, but the Germans have successfully bottled up the beachhead, bogging the British and Americans down in fighting in the close bocage country and in numerous shattered towns and villages. But the British and Canadians in the north have launched a strong attempt to break out past the ravaged city of Caen. The Germans are hard-pressed to prevent this strong armoured move. The 12th SS Panzer Grenadier Division Hitlerjugend has been bled white defending Caen, and on the 7th of August, heavy SS Panzer Battalion 101 is attached to the division, in position halfway between Caen and Falaise. Consisting of Tiger I tanks, the heavy SS Panzer Battalion 101's job is to protect the Hitlerjugend's right flank and occupy heights north of the village of Sainteau. SS-Oberführer Kurt Meyer, commanding the Hitlerjugend division, knows his battle group is too weak to put up a strong defence and decides instead to use his few Tigers and other armour to attack the British and Canadian divisions massing before him in the hope of disrupting their assault. This attack should buy time for fresh German divisions to come up and build good defences behind Meyer's position. Among the officers of SS Heavy Panzer Battalion 101 is Germany's highest-scoring tank ace, SS-Hauptsturmführer Michael Wittmann, who only days before had destroyed 25 British armoured vehicles in an almost single-handed Tiger action at the village of Villers-Bocage, earning the swords to his Knight's Cross and Oak Leaves and promotion to captain. In total, Wittmann had destroyed around 138 enemy tanks, mostly on the Eastern Front. Any careful planning for the projected attack by the Hitlerjugend battle group is spoiled by the appearance overhead of a solitary B-17 bomber that starts dropping flares. The SS move fast. A large airstrike will obviously arrive in about 10 minutes. Meyer decides to attack at once. At 12:30, he shakes Wittmann's hand and the ace clambers aboard Tiger 007 and heads off into battle. Wittmann commanded a force of 4 Tiger Is. They moved out in a column heading north-northwest and soon came under heavy British artillery fire, but this did not stop them. Firing at the extreme range of 1,800 metres, Wittmann's group brought Sherman tanks of the Canadian Sherbrooke Fusiliers Regiment under fire, knocking some of them out. Rolling on, Wittmann's tanks continued northwest, but they were unaware that A Squadron, the British Northamptonshire Yeomanry, were parked in concealed positions to Wittmann's northeast. A Squadron's No. 3 troop is commanded by Lieutenant James and equipped with 3 standard 75mm gun-armed Sherman tanks and 1 Sherman Firefly. The Firefly was the British response to dealing with better armoured and gunned German tanks like the Panther and the Tiger. With a larger turret, the Firefly mounted a 17-pounder anti-tank gun capable of knocking out most German tanks. As Lieutenant James and the other tank commanders watched through binoculars, the Tigers drove on, exposing their more lightly armoured flanks to the fire of the British tanks. The Firefly, commanded by Sergeant Gordon, had spotted the Tigers at a range of 1,200 metres. He immediately radioed A Squadron headquarters to report. He was told to hold his fire until the second-in-command, Captain Boardman, arrived. Boardman, aboard his own Sherman, drove up as German artillery and mortar fire plastered No. 3 troops' position. The British decided to wait until the Tigers came closer before opening fire. Even as the range wound down, Sergeant Gordon told the other Shermans to hold their fire. His Firefly would do all the shooting initially, as the only tank capable of dealing it out to Wittmann's Tigers. At 12:39 p.m., at a range of 800 metres, Gordon ordered his Firefly forward to the edge of the orchard. Trooper Joe Ekins, Gordon's gunner, took aim at the last Tiger, Gordon hoping that the other Tigers wouldn't register his attack immediately. Ekins fired. The loader slammed another AP shell into the breech, and Ekins fired again. The targeted Tiger burst into flames. Gordon ordered his tank reverse back into cover, but the next Tiger's turret began to rotate to deal with the new threat. It fired, the big 88mm round missing. German fired twice more, but didn't hit the Firefly. But Sergeant Gordon was injured. Standing in the turret, he was struck by something and bailed out, only to be wounded by shrapnel. Troop Commander Lieutenant James dismounted from his own tank and ran over to the Firefly, clambering into the turret to assume command. Ordering the driver to move the tank to a fresh firing position, by 12:47 the Firefly was ready to resume fighting. James ordered the Firefly out from cover. Ekins sighting his gun on the second Tiger, which had 007 painted on the sides of the turret. It was Michael Wittmann's tank. James gave the order to fire. Tiger 007 erupted into a fireball, and seconds later its turret was blown clean off as the Firefly's shell set off stored ammunition. Wittmann was killed instantly. James ordered the Firefly back into cover. The other Shermans now engaged the remaining Tigers. Shortly after, Ekins stopped another Tiger with his 17-pounder. It burst into flames. It was 12:52. In less than a quarter of an hour, Trooper Ekins had dispatched 3 Tigers using just 5 shells. He ended his streak by knocking out 2 Panzer IVs at 1,645 metres. Ekins, a factory worker from Northamptonshire, had dispatched Germany's greatest tank ace. Evidently a crack shot, curiously the army detailed Ekins to be a tank radio operator for the remainder of the war. Wittmann's remains were recovered, and today he is buried in a communal grave close to where Tiger 007 blew up. As for Trooper Ekins, he lived to the ripe old age of 88 and passed away in 2012. Please do subscribe, share, and also support me on Patreon. Many thanks.